Hello, welcome to the Land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. Let's talk about 10 ways to simplify homeschool. So this morning while I was making pancakes, I came across a video. I like to listen to something while I'm making breakfast by Dawn, the Minimal Mom, and it was 10 ways to simplify life. And I'll link that video for you in the description box. You guys have probably heard me talk about Dawn before. I'm a big fan. She's really helped me sort things out in my mind. Anyways, she gave 10 tips to simplify your life. And you guys know I use her container method idea with our notebooking. That's something that's helped us out a lot. So I was kind of just naturally applying her 10 tips for simplifying life to homeschool. And so I'm going to give them to you, her 10 tips, but reinterpreted for homeschool and kind of how I have used these strategies myself. Okay, her number one tip, was limit options. My interpretation of limiting options in your homeschool. To me, what's helpful is to have an overarching philosophy or goal. And that is really going to help me filter out just certain curriculums or activities or things like that aren't fitting under my philosophy or my long-term goals. So for us personally, my overarching philosophy, I guess, is independence. The goal is to get the kids to be independent learners. And I implement the Robinson curriculum because that is a curriculum that is the main idea, is the main focus. You guys do know I've talked a lot about making my own kind of bridge curriculum into that, but I first had to have that overarching goal of independence and the framework that the Robinson curriculum gave me to work within, and it already had a lot of resources available to me, so I always go there first, and that just cuts out a ton of other options that are out there and on the market that I'm not worried about researching. And I mean, you do come across a lot of stuff, right? Especially if you're looking on YouTube, you're talking to other homeschooling families, you're reading blog articles. I do feel like I do come across a lot of stuff, but I will automatically filter it through, is this going to lead my child to be independent? Will this work within my RC framework? To help myself with that bridge curriculum, I did create my unofficial RC notebooks and my everything notebooks. And so between those two things, I am able to filter out a ton and really help simplify my homeschooling. Tip number 2 is to prioritize resources, or to give your resources in curriculum a promotion. Dawn called it a promotion. So this is going to be in the homeschool setting. I'm looking over here. I have shelves full of books, full of curriculum, full of notebooks, full of reference books, encyclopedias, readers, math textbooks, manipulatives, flashcards, book list books, off list books, art books, right? Things that we've used already, things we've never used yet. So the simplification here, because I did want to have a home library, that was something I did want to have, and actually in its own way simplifies my homeschool for me. But to promote some of those resources, I get a basket. Each child, I have 3 kids, they each have their own basket. It's about yay big. And it's just what they are currently using. And when they're done with whatever they're done with, it goes back up on the shelf for the next kid. I do try to stay away from consumables outside of their notebooks, but even workbooks and things, I don't have the kids write in them. I have them do their work in their notebook, and then that workbook goes back on the shelf to be reused. So I'm saving money too. Okay, so I've got my overarching philosophy and goals, promoting my resources into baskets for daily use. Number 3, she said limit your inventory. I feel like that's really going to tie into limit your options. So that's more of what's going on in your mind, what you think is an option out there. Your inventory is what you physically have. right? We physically own what's in your house. All those resources, all those workbooks, all those notebooks, purge your homeschool. I know I've held on to a ton of things because a lot of things I bought because it was like, with the way that online shopping is, I was like, I want to see that. You can't get it in your hand. You can't look all through all the pages and get a feel for it. There's like so many things that I have bought to research. And just because I bought them and then I decided like not to use them, just because I've spent money on something doesn't mean I need to keep it on my shelves if I'm not going to use it though, right? Same with if your kids if you're past the age and you use these, they were given great resources when they were younger, but they're all past that stage. Like, you don't need to keep holding on to all that curriculum that's not going to be used anymore. Sell it, donate it, take it to consignment, throw it away if you have to. You will be glad to have the space back. It'll make things easier to find, simpler to organize into their own. I like to put things into sections. Next on the list is saying no. Say no to stuff. So for us, a lot of this how it comes down to lifestyle. I have friends that their kids, like all their kids are doing so much stuff. And I don't mean to hate on anyone doing this stuff, but like, I will not be putting my 3, 4, 5, probably even a 6-year-old into sports. Like, I'm not going to spend that time, energy, money, like that. To me, that's a waste of resources. I will not ever be missing church because my kids are on a travel team, ever. That's not a priority. So like, saying no to things, and this is just my priorities, but saying no to things that are outside your priorities, that are conflicting with your resources. We all have limited resources. What's that golden like triangle? It's like time, energy, and money. Like, you only can ever have 2 of the 3. You never have all 3. And sometimes you only maybe have 1, right? Like, sometimes you have the time, but you don't have the energy. Like, sometimes you have the energy and the time, but you don't have the money. Like, sometimes you have the time and the money, but not the the money, but not the energy or the time. So you have to really be careful about your priorities. For me personally, I'm a less is more person in general. It's okay to say no. A big component of homeschooling is the economic element to it, and it is worth the sacrifice. The kids will be fine. You're just gonna have to be, it's like the triangle, right? You may not have the money, but you have the time and the energy. You're here with your kids, and be as resourceful as you can. Everything will be fine. Like, don't carry the mom guilt. Say no and don't feel bad about it. Okay, next. Daily uniform. This has cracked me up. I actually heard one time that somebody they had their kids like actually have like a school uniform for their homeschool, and I was like, and the kids like hated it, and I was like, that sounds great. I personally don't. I'm just like, just get clothes on. The one thing I do say is no pajamas. You can't, like, the kids they're always trying to sneak in here with like pajama bottoms on, and I'm like, no, go put on pants. Go put on real pants. And I want to be ready to go. If we would decide to, I like to give myself I am very like, I like structure, but I like to have wiggle room. I like to be like, you know what, it's so nice outside, and like sometimes you're just having a hard day at school. Sometimes it's just hard. It might be your kids are having a hard time, and it might be you. And sometimes you're like, you know what, close your books. Let's go to the park. Let's go to the lake or whatever. Let's go for a walk. It really annoys me when they've got their pajama pants on and they like have to go upstairs. And then they're up there and they won't come down because they got distracted. And they're like, I can't find pants now. And then you're just like, just be ready. Same with yourself. Just get up, have your own little mom uniform. I made a video about my mom uniform before. I might have deleted the video because it was so wildly nobody cared at all. But I put on real clothes every day, things I can leave the house in, and nothing fancy, like, but jeans and a shirt, right? In the summer when it gets hot, I'm going to be wearing a dress almost every single day because it's so hot and humid here. And to be honest, I gained like 10 pounds in the last year, and like none of my shorts fit me. And I refuse to buy new shorts right now. I'm like, no, I can still fit into my dresses, right? So So I'm just gonna be wearing dresses, which is really nice. It's just like one thing you put on and you're dressed, which is like so nice. Get dressed, have your uniform, right? Everyone just actually get dressed in the morning and brush your teeth, like first thing in the morning. Next tip, number 6, no distractions in the schoolroom. I do have some strict rules around no toys in the schoolroom. Like nothing that's gonna be distracting. And if something's in here and it becomes a distraction, I will take it out, even if I brought it in here, or I will put it up high where they can't reach it. If it's getting to be something that they're like stopping what they're working on to like mess with it. And so that's same with, I have it no toys at the table, right? Like there's no toys allowed in the schoolroom or the dining room. It's a no-go. Simplify that, like nip that in the bud. I will say that when Bo was really little, like when he was a really little guy and he was in here with us, he had to be, you got to watch your toddlers. He did have like a basket of toys, but that was okay because it was for him and he was a baby, and the other boys weren't really that interested in toddler toys. Number 7, stop trying to multitask. This can be hard especially if you are, so I'll go on a total sidetrack, sorry for a second. We had a date night at church a few weeks back. Like the church hosted this event for couples, and they asked like who in here like works, or was it who in here works, or I said who in here like both of you work, both couples work, and my husband did not raise his hand, and I was like, your hand up, I work. I just realized that like he did not consider the fact that I homeschool full-time year-round, run an Etsy shop, and YouTube. That's like 3 jobs, you guys, on top of basic running the house stuff. I was like, I work too. I just work from home. A lot of us are working from home. If you're like me and you're doing side hustles, admit to yourself that you work, that you work too, that you have a job too. The difficulty with homeschooling and multitasking really can come into play when you work from home and you're trying to homeschool. Now, I think when the kids, like for Everett, my oldest, he's going into 8th grade this upcoming year, it's really not an issue because like he can sit in here and I can be on my computer. We can do those 2 things at the same time. He homeschool and work at the same time, right? The 2 of us, because I can stop, I can pause if he needs me or something. But the younger 2, my 8-year-old and my 6-year-old, I have to do a lot with them. So first thing, I will not multitask is I will not work when it's lesson time. I won't. I will not be telling them to hold on, I'm working when they need me. So I might be working on something, but it has to be something that I'm not too absorbed in. Like I might just be like reading something. That's fine, because I'm not like in the act of like actually, like when I work on stuff, like when I'm creating resources or like really deeply researching, I am like really absorbed and I don't want to be interrupted. So I don't want to make my kids feel like they're less important than what I'm doing. Like they're my number 1 priority. Like they're why I'm home. So when it's like lesson time, I will make sure I'm available. I will not try to work at the same time. So I'm going to have like a block schedule. So I get up, I don't start school till 10 a.m. I can get up, I can get chores going. Also, like sometimes I get up like really early. You guys wake up at like 4 a.m. and can't get back to sleep. When that happens to me, I just come straight down to the schoolroom because that's where my desk is, and I just work. Like I'll get like hours of work in before school starts. And a lot of times, like after school, when the kids when their dad is putting them down to bed, I will be working for a few more hours. I'm probably a little less structured. I just make sure the 2 don't overlap. The other thing for multitasking is it's very difficult to have all your kids doing different levels of school and different subjects all at the same time, and you think that you're going to I do say I kind of ping pong, but a really helpful way, anything that you can turn into a family subject or family group activity is helpful. for that. And, you know, you just kind of gauge it out, like what is your season, you know, what's going on in your homeschool, what are your children's ages. That stuff phases out as they get older and they're able to work independently. So another one that Donna was talking about is meal planning. And I think this is very applicable to homeschool because I'm home. I'm making 3 meals a day, plus probably a snack plate, plus probably before bedtime snacks. Does anybody else do bedtime snacks? I always grew up, we always had a snack before bed. And my husband was like, no, we didn't have any snacks after dinner. So her recommendation for meal planning was to basically get about 20 meals you're really good at making, 20 simple meals, and then just rotate through them. That was hers. I like to always cook a large portion for dinner. So sometimes you have to double batch something. There's 5 of us in our family, and because I want my husband to be able to take leftovers for lunch, and then we're usually eating leftovers for lunch. Like, I don't plan lunch. Like, we just are going to eat leftovers. If there's no leftovers, then I guess you get a peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and honey or something like that sandwich, or like a quesadilla or something really simple. But yeah, meal planning is so helpful. Her next tip, number 9, was to shorten your daily to-do list. And she goes into that a little bit more. And like she's gone over like the brain dump concept versus your daily to-do. So like I do keep in my planner, like there's things I like to brain dump, like what Etsy resources I want to make, what I'm working on. I'll have a list in there. I have my YouTube videos I want to create, ideas, and like what I'm going to be putting into my Amazon store or putting on Amazon, the things that I'm going to have to format for that. So I have my brain dump areas. Those are like my 3 main brain dump areas. And then I may have like my personal brain dump area, like we need to find a new dentist. We need to make travel plans. Like, so there's like a brain for the summer. So there's like a brain dump area for my personal. So I have like 4 categories I typically am brain dumping in. But my daily to do, she's like, just like do your top 3. And that most other things, like all your little things, your daily little things, those should be habits. And she's talked about, I think I learned about the concept of habit stacking from her. I'll see if I can find a video on habit stacking and link it for you too. But basically it is, if you have your overarching routine, right? Like every morning I get up and take coffee. Well, that's when I'm going to take my vitamins. Like just stack something that you already have a habit of and put another, habit that you want to add to it. So it's together. I told you I gained 10 pounds. I've been trying to go for a walk after dinner. So by the time, and I actually, there's a certain podcast I listen to every night. So I listen to Timcast, IRL, almost every night. It's a YouTube podcast. I listen to it on YouTube. I think there's other ways to listen to it, but I listen to it on YouTube. It comes on at 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And so it's really motivating to me to get through dinner, get it cleaned up. I might have some time to come in and like work on some work stuff on my own. But when it's 8 o'clock, I pop in my earbuds, put on my tennis shoes, and go for a walk. Because I know I'm going to listen to Tim at 8 o'clock every night anyways, whether I was working or taking a shower or whatever, I'm going to turn him on and listen to it. It's a 2-hour podcast, so I've got plenty of time to go for a nice walk, come home, and, get ready, for bed or whatever I need to do while I listen to that podcast. And so mostly habit stack. And then if there's just like a couple extra things that you need to do, like take kids to doctor appointment, right? 1 p.m. Set your alarm in your phone, right? Go grocery shopping, maybe you have to do that day, and return books to the library. Like whatever your top three things are. But that's outside of your regular routine. And the last tip from her was that your likes and your seasons change. So it's okay to shape your life around those changes. So you may have, this will take us right back up to our first one, our overarching. So come up with your overarching education philosophy or goals. What if that changes? What if you're like, I'm Charlotte Mason. I love Charlotte Mason, right? And then you're like, gosh, I've learned some things about classical, method. I think I'm like leaning towards classical. It's okay to change. It's okay. It's okay to change your hybrid, right? And refine your homeschool philosophy or goals. Like, that's natural. In fact, I guarantee it's going to happen more than once. And that's okay. Just go ahead and start shaping things out. If something needs to be adjusted, like, allow for that. Don't try to force yourself to stay in a box, right? There's got to be a balance of containing, right? Limiting your stuff, really limiting your resources, but I feel like a lot of us, like, we are mulling things over for a while. Just don't be so fickle that's like, anything new you hear, I gotta try that. I would say make a plan and stick to it for a certain amount of time. But if it's not working, or if you want to try something, it's okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. It does take a while to find our way. Just think about, like, how many horrid fashion fads did I go through before I just figured, listen, I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of gal. I was thinking the other day about the belts. Oh my gosh, the belts I used to wear, and I won't. Listen, the early 2000s, we really thought we had it going on. Anyways, but over time, you've allowed yourself to grow, you've allowed yourself to change, you've shaped your wardrobe around that, and it's okay to do that with your homeschool as well. But when that happens, it's going to kick off some of those earlier things. You're going to all of a sudden, okay, if you really decided you're going to commit to this different type of style, you're going to probably not need some of the resources you've had, and you may need new ones, right? You may decide you really love classical conversations or something like that, or some co-op you really want to go to, but you only have X amount of dollars, so you may need to let go of something else. This is all part of your priorities and shaping your life to your priorities as well. And you're not going to feel guilty about it. Tell yourself, no, guilt be gone. You are blessing your children. You are blessing your children, staying home with them and giving them all your love and attention and your very best. Like, don't feel guilty for that. You are gifting them every day. Okay, let's do a quick run through. Right? Number 1, limit your options by picking your philosophies and goals. 2, give your resources a promotion. Get a basket. Just what you're using on a daily basis, have it right at hand. Everything else can be organized and put away. Number 3, limit your inventory. Get rid of extra curriculum, things you don't use anymore, things that you bought to research and didn't end up using. Get rid of them. Out. Say no to extracurriculars that conflict with your priorities. Have a daily uniform. You and your kids get dressed so that every morning, get dressed, brush your teeth, hygiene. You don't have to be done up. Have a uniform. You're ready to go. If you need to leave the house, you can just put on your shoes and leave the house. No distractions in the schoolroom. Get the screens out. Get the toys out. Stop trying to multitask. If you need to make a block schedule, or if you need to combine subjects with kids, try those strategies. Meal plan. And have your kids help with the cleanup. My kids all have, like, their job is always to clean, like, wipe down the table between every meal. Shorten your daily to-do list. Everything else is routine and habit stacking. Allow for changes in seasons of your life, or changes in what you like, and changes in your goals, and reshape around that. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. I will link Dawn's original video in the description box. You can see how she's applying these kind of concepts to life in general, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.